Alright, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to see the thing that I said we'll see in the previous video, but the video was getting too long, so I left that out. So the thing that we need to see is how to actually import custom style sheets and custom scripts, JavaScript files in our own code, right? So first off, this is the test.ejs file, and this does not contain the head, right? And you could include the scripts at the end because the closing is in the footer, but you cannot include the style sheets in the body, right? You need to include that in the head. So for that, I'll have to go into the header.ejs, and we have this. So you can include your files in here. Now you might be thinking that we can have like different files for different pages. In that case, you will not have these two things in the header, and instead you will have them in the footer. And then you'll need to have like a separate file for head and body. But for now, you can just see this. And all right, so then inside this, you can link your things. Right. So I'll put rel equal style sheet and href. Now I need to put something in here. And first for that, I need to have a CSS file, of course. So where do you put that CSS file? Now our folder structure is going to get complex. And I'm not going to, and it can be confusing at the beginning, and you might need to like refer back to the videos a lot of times to actually figure out what you had to put where, because earlier we were just having one folder inside which we were having an HTML file, a CSS file, and a JavaScript file. That was the max we had. But now we will have a normal folder inside which we'll have their global things like the app.js. Then we'll have a views folder inside which we'll have our EJS files. Inside the views, we'll have a partials folder which will have our partial files. And then right now I'm going to introduce another folder. So this might be getting a little overwhelming right now, and I understand that, but the reason behind that is that I'm trying to cover everything before we actually build a page. And once we do, you will get much more clear with it, of course, because exercises always make concepts more clear. So for now, I'll just tell you how it's done. And let me quit the server once. And I need to start it again when I visit the page this time. So now I'll see right now I'm in the intermediate express, and you could name this directory anything, but most of the times this is named as public, right? So we'll make a new directory public, inside which we can put our style sheets directly, right? And we could also make a style sheets folder inside the public, but for now we're going to put it directly. So I'll do touch main.css, right? And now I'm going to open it. Great. So now we have our main.css open, right? So now we can put our codes in here, and let's say I put my h1. Do we even have an h1? Yes, we do. So I'll do color yellow. Great. So now if our file is correctly linked, our color should become yellow, and we were linking it in here, right? So what I'll do is I'll put simple main.css. Now you might be thinking, this is inside the partials folder. Main.css is inside the public folder. So do I have to do like // by going to the views, then // by going to the intermediate express, then I have to do public, and then I have to select main.css. You could do that, that's not a problem, but it's of course not really helpful because you have to write really long paths and you could make an error in that. So Java's Node actually gives you a really good method to actually do that. What you can do is you can go up here, you can do app.use. So use is another function inside of app, and this is something that will be used a lot. And you need to write express.static public. Alright, so one more weird syntax. And now you might be like getting really uncomfortable because we are seeing loads and loads of new syntaxes right now. But let me tell you that there are a lot of things that you will just copy from one file into the other when you're starting a new project. Like these three things, if you're following this folder structure and a lot of other things, you will be just like, okay, I have to do all this. You will copy that, you will paste that in your new file, and then you'll start. And you don't actually need to remember these syntaxes too. You can always refer back, right? It's not a problem. But because you are going to see a lot of new syntaxes, because backend is actually really vast, but you'll get the hang of it sooner or later. Because of course I was in your place when I was learning, right? I was thinking, what's all this happening? I'm seeing a new syntax every 5 minutes and I'm not able to remember it. But like I did, right? I can now write this easily. So you will be able to do the same. So don't worry about that, because I know you will be right now. So don't, right? And so what's happening with this is we are telling that the static files that we're using, right, in our code, which is basically CSS and JavaScript files, are inside my public directory, right? This is what we are telling our node with this one line. So now whenever we are like linking a CSS file, our node will by default look inside this public folder, right? And hence main.css will work great. Alright, so now I will save this, and if I refresh, I again forgot to start the server. I do need to work on remembering that. And for this, you actually need the express, right? Alright, so now if I refresh, I see my document has been linked correctly. So now you could put all your custom CSS inside this main.css file and you could make that work. Similarly, inside this header, you could link your bootstrap and you could then use its classes wherever you want in all the areas files, right? And you could like serve a custom JavaScript file using the same method. I'll do that. I'll make the script tag and I'll do source main.js. And inside here, I'll quit the server. I'll touch and our folder structure will become even more complex as we move along, right? So you eventually need to get acquainted to seeing this amount of, not this amount of files, but like a really long file list here for a single project, because eventually we will see that, but you will get used to it, don't worry. Alright, so now I'll open that up. I'll do goon public main.js, and now I can do an alert. Hello from the JS file. Alright, so now I'll go here and first off, that is linked. Alright, so now if I refresh, and this is becoming irritating now, I usually like have a separate terminal open. And it says hello from the JS file. Excellent. So now this is working as we wanted it to work. And this is extremely good. So now you have like seen everything in EJS without a single exercise. And that is why I know you are overwhelmed at the moment. But you'll be happy to know that this is basically all the basic that you need to know. The next complex thing that we'll actually see will be the database. And once we start with the database and with the complex project that we had to do in this course, and that is that real zone 2, then this folder structure will start getting complex, right? And this app.js will start having more things inside, right? All right. So yeah, so that's it for this video. And now the next thing that we will see, because we have learned EJS completely, like we've learned rendering things completely, we've learned intermediate EJS completely. So the next thing that we'll see is an exercise for the same, right? And once you have done that, you will become a little more comfortable with all of this. But it will take some time to actually get fully comfortable with all of this and remember it by your heart, because that will happen by practice. You don't need to actually sit and remember that, okay, I have to put my files inside the public folder. Of course not. But yeah, so when we'll do an exercise, you will become a little more comfortable. Great. Yeah. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. And congrats, we're moving like really fast now. And you might be thinking that we're moving fast, that's why you're not able to understand. But trust me, that's what everybody feels in the beginning of backend. But in the end, I like turned out loving it. Great. So yeah, so that's it for this video.